going live.
I think we're probably kicking into Twitch right now because I know when I do my streams they take a while, or at least Twitch does.
Yep. Let's see. Waiting for Signal to tell us we're live.
Let's
Hey, Talking Tech is live. All right.
We are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube.
Let's
So,
say I'm
and
waiting
Twitter's
for-
probably up too.
Twitch, we're up.
Okay, I'm waiting for notification on Twitch. Twitch usually takes a minute. Maybe.
All right.
But
well, we'll give Twitch
We
some
could
time to come around.
Probably
Yeah.
still do your introduction.
All right. So, welcome to Talking Tech. My name is Sean Walsh. I'm the Emerging Services and Technologies Librarian here at your Madison Public Library. And with me, as always,
Charley Barnacote. I am the Guiding Ohio Online Learning Coach here at the Madison Public Library.
and behind the camera is,
Behind the camera is Colt, and I'm producing tonight.
yep, Colt's our video producer and audio producer. So, all right. And you can chime in at any time. That's why we gave him a mic, you know.
There's
All right. So, yeah. So we're getting going here. So, first off, I'm going to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day ahead of time. That's happening Monday next week. And so hopefully get some good candy and maybe some technology for Valentine's Day. So, Charlie, I know I've got a pretty big story I want to
Am I kicking off the?
So I was going to let you kick off because I'm going to pick up with something that we had viewer
gonna
request.
take,
Yeah, it's going to take
okay.
a little while.
Okay,
So go
okay,
ahead and
okay.
do your thing.
Let's see. Which one do I want to start off with? Yeah, why not? We've been talking about EVs lately and everything else.
I just got a signal and I watched that Twitch went live.
I was gonna say it just came up on my phone too.
Yeah.
So, Koenigsegg, are they Swedish? They're Swedish, aren't they? Or Nor. I don't remember. I don't remember
know.
where.
No offense to any.
Yes,
any Finns,
I'm not trying
Swedes, or
to-
Norwegians. We don't remember where that company is from.
I'm just trying to remember where it's from.
It is.
But anyway,
it's definitely. It could be Dutch too.
it's yeah. I don't necessarily know, but
I get your props for just pronouncing the name.
well, I play a lot of racing games.
Oh, well, yeah.
So
That's kinda your
everyone
jam.
pronounces it differently. There's probably some special way to pronounce it.
Yeah. I think
right
it's
now-
pretty much what they pronounce on Top
I
Gear.
think so, yeah. So they've produced a electric motor that can put out, if I remember correctly, it's on here somewhere. It can, let's see, 335 horsepower and 443 foot-pounds of torque
That is pretty phenomenal.
in
Impressive.
a size of a 24 ounce, 24 pack of like energy drinks.
You know what? Hey Colt, can you cut to camera 3 so we can see the
Yeah,
picture
so
on
we can
Charlie's
see,
laptop?
so we can see what it looks like here.
Yeah.
Like that is a can of their energy drink that they have.
We're cutting.
Oh wait, is
It's
it still going? It's still
yeah.
waiting.
yeah.
All right, then we'll give it a minute.
Give it a second. I'm watching.
We'll give
I'm
it a
watching our
moment.
feed to see when it cuts over. You know, because we're gonna be behind a little bit.
Yeah.
Still thinking.
Yeah, it's kind of going.
Yep. So did it cut over, Colt?
Not on. It's not showing me that it cut over here.
This
right.
is why we can't have nice things.
Wait, let me change it over. Change it over again.
All right. This is where we have all this wonderful
ready,
dead air.
ready. 3, 2, 1, unplug.
All right.
And I'm gonna wait for it for a second, and then 3, 2, 1, plug back in.
And
then my window
There
is
we
going.
go. It
We got
works.
it?
Did it work now?
It
All right.
works.
Hopefully we don't have to do that all the time, but we'll see.
You'll.
all right. Hey,
So-
look, it's on the screen.
Exactly,
All right,
now
this
it
is why
is.
we watch our own feed.
Yes. So that is a can of their energy drink that they own, that
Yeah.
they produce, next to the motor itself.
That's pretty impressive.
And this is a compact electric motor that they plan to mass produce and use in their own cars.
That's pretty solid. And they're known for pretty crazy,
Fast cars.
like super, like
Yes.
the mega cars and whatever. And
Koenigsegg 1-to-1.
yeah.
You guys know what I'm thinking?
What's
What?
that?
Smart car.
The fastest smart car ever. That could be
Super fast
awesome
smart
because smart cars are only 3 cylinders.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could put one of those in the smart car, and we know where we can get a smart car.
Yeah.
This may evolve into Top Gear Madison edition. All right, do you want to cut back and see if it'll cut back okay?
Yeah. And then
Yep. Cut. Worked great.
All right. Okay, so you want to do
So
one more story?
you want
and
me to
then
do
I'm
another
gonna
one?
Yeah.
All right, might as well just keep going on the car route here. So
right.
our some people at Toyota, some crazy people at Toyota, have decided that they want to make drifting, which is, sending a car completely sideways.
Yeah.
In some control.
Yeah.
I'll say some
Controlled
control.
chaos sideways slide.
They're saying that they want to make this a potential safety feature,
Yes.
like traction control.
So I see autonomous drifting is the title of your thing there.
So as they're still continuing research on this, but imagine you being able to drift around a corner as a safety feature if you lose control.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Because, basically, how you drift is you use the handbrake on your car, your emergency brake, which the fancy drifting cars have like these giant fancy handbrakes. But, essentially, you're yanking on that handbrake. If you have one, you're yanking on the handbrake and just kind of letting the tail end slide over. Yeah, and that's a safety feature. Well, maybe in Northeast Ohio when it's snowy, let that autonomous drifting kick in there as we're going down 480 with 4 inches of snow.
Yeah, but right now they're only putting this towards their racing vehicles of sorts.
Safety.
Yeah, safety. So far it's only on closed courses that they're testing this stuff on. I don't know if they'll actually ever really put this out to public use. If anything, it's going to be locked to a track mode probably in the Supra itself. But I found that interesting because I was like,
that's pretty cool.
There's going to be robots and Formula Drift now.
I know. How soon is it going to be? There's nobody in the NASCAR.
Yes.
We're just going to be driving like remote controls. So, okay, we've hit a couple of stories. And by the way, feel free at any time to jump on the chat and send us a message. We should be able to pick up chat from Facebook, our 2 Facebook feeds, Twitch, YouTube, and I think Twitter will actually send us something through.
Okay.
So, all right. So one of our listeners, Chris, after the last show, sent a message in saying, "Hey, can you explain cryptocurrency?" So I figured I'd go like a deep dive into cryptocurrency for you guys. It's something that I've always kind of been fascinated with. I don't really dabble much in, but I am fascinated. And guys, chime in a little bit as we go through here. So let's talk about cryptocurrency. And you may hear cryptocurrency. Basically, the most well-known is Bitcoin. Yes. There's a ton of other cryptocurrency, Dogecoin, and just tons of stuff like that. But most people have heard of Bitcoin. So what is this thing? So it's a virtual currency. So it doesn't exist. It's not a paper. It's not a real coin. It's just a computer file that's secured with cryptography, meaning that it has some security built into it to prevent it from being copied, transferred, all that stuff. And you can't counterfeit it. You can't counterfeit a Bitcoin. One Bitcoin is a Bitcoin, period. There's no way to get around that. There is no counterfeiting. There is nobody stamping out new ones that are fake. There's only one way to do it. And to create a Bitcoin, you do something called mining, which is running basically a complex mathematical formula. And if you complete that formula before anybody else, you get access to the next amount of Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a game, I would say. It's a real life game. So what people are doing is building these giant Bitcoin mining things, which is the reason why we all have trouble finding video cards, because the video card processors, what they use to do this complex mathematical equation to generate a Bitcoin.
And there's a lot of money in it.
There's a lot of money. Bitcoins went from, I can remember at one point, Bitcoins were like, $100 for a whole Bitcoin. Fractional Bitcoins now, because you can break Bitcoins into pieces. Fractional Bitcoins are still thousands of dollars in some cases.
As of right now, they're worth for every Bitcoin, it's $43,000 US.
So one Bitcoin, $43,000 US. Thank you, Colt.
That's a car.
That's a
one car
Bitcoin
for one coin.
Is a pretty decent car, So you'll find people like China had giant Bitcoin mines
that have been confiscated.
Yeah, that have been confiscated recently. But people are doing that. And they're using video cards. So they build these Bitcoin mining rigs, which generate a lot of heat. So you have to run a bunch of fans. They use a lot of electricity, and they run 24 hours a day.
Yes,
it's kind of fascinating to be able to make enough Bitcoin. So you're running this mathematical formula, and when you solve it, That's your chance to get the next Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If you solve it just after someone else, you have to wait for more Bitcoin to be available. So that's why they're just hammering on these equations, hoping to be that person to get in. So if you can imagine, it's like everyone at the same time trying to click on something to get tickets for a movie or whatever. You're literally competing with, hundreds of thousands of people. So that's Bitcoin, that's mining. And you hear the other word is blockchain. So blockchain is the database that's behind all the Bitcoins, and it's a distributed database. Oh, here's Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
So that's Margaret for our overhead speakers, letting us know what's going on with the building. So blockchain is a distributed database, and it existed a little bit before Bitcoin. But the distributed part means that it's not in one central place. So that's kind of the interesting thing about Bitcoin is that it's not owned by a single country. So most currency is owned by a country. Bitcoin's not. It's distributed out across multiple systems. So it has redundancy. So, I mean, you can't just like, I don't know if you guys, one of my more favorite books is Fight Club. And kind of the point of the end of Fight Club is they blow up the financial sector, which please, I'm not advocating violence, but that's part of the book is they blow up the financial sector to reset everyone. So they basically wipe everyone's record clean.
Yeah.
With Bitcoin, that doesn't exist anymore because there is no way to basically take out the head of Bitcoin. It's everywhere. So that's why people are interested in it. That being said, it's very speculative. So it's like playing the stocks. If you want to buy Bitcoin, it's the same as playing a stock because it could go up, it could go down. So, I know a lot of people got into Bitcoin early on and made a ton of money. But more recently, Bitcoin lost what? Here we go. 1.4 trillion with a T, dollars since November. So Bitcoin got up to a point in November and has lost $1.4 trillion.
I was gonna say, I think I remember watching because I have an app on my phone that kind of tracks it through, and I've been following it because I was like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I saw it. It was just like 4 or 5 days in a row. Bitcoin is going down. Like as
of today, just today, it went down. The worth of a Bitcoin went down $200.
Just today?
Just today.
Just today. So I mean, think about Bitcoin as you think about stocks. And like I had an awesome teacher in high school that for my economics class, and he basically said, okay, here's how you see stocks. You take a pile of money. You could shred that money, or you can invest in stocks, and you can get the exact same result. You could lose everything. Yeah. So if you have extra money, I don't know anybody who has extra money, but hey, let's just go with it. If you have extra money that it doesn't financially hurt you to get rid of, to not have, you have an extra $200 laying around that is you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You could put it in the stocks, and you could make money, or you could totally lose that $200. It's not any different than going to Las Vegas and playing one of the games of chance.
Yeah. And
totally losing everything. So I'm kind of Bitcoin is just fascinating to watch. I've never wanted to invest in it because again, I have yet to have money that I can just run through the shredder,
just send right in.
It just doesn't seem to work for me. And I did want to talk about something else, which are NFTs. We did mention NFTs in a couple of episodes ago. I just think the name is funny, non-fungible tokens. And someone said, can you explain NFTs to me? And so we were in the office and I was kind of talking to everybody. And I feel like the best way to describe an NFT is it's an electronic file that's kind of like an autographed baseball card or an autographed
album. I think
I said album, like vinyl album, or an autographed comic book. But it's also one of those things like the limited production kind of things. So an NFT is could be anything. It could be the image. It could be a music clip. It could be a video. It could be art, other kinds of art. It could be a meme, so an animated thing. It could be a tweet. So a tweet. So an example is tweet by Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban could be turned into an NFT. So it's kind of like owning someone's speech. Like I see autographs go through all the time, and like scripts or speeches. It'd be like having a script or a speech.
Yeah.
Or virtual real estate. and I'm going to talk about meta a little bit and virtual real estate as we go down. So these objects are limited in quantity. So there's only going to be like 10 of this type of NFT, and they're going to be signed and they're encrypted, and they run on blockchain. So they're actually stored in blockchain too. So they're stored in that giant distributed database everywhere. So you can't lose an NFT. So when someone said an NFT, think about maybe artwork by Banksy, who's coming to Cleveland. Banksy does one-offs, but Banksy also has like, a series of things that are maybe reproduced, like lithographs, and they're limited edition, and they may be signed or whatever. I don't know if Banksy actually signs. Well, he sort of signs stuff. I don't know if it's a he, or something like, I think like, a piece of artwork with a signature on it. And, maybe there's 10 of them, maybe there's 5 of them, or a sculpture or something like that. So NFTs are just digital stuff that we're going to see on Antiques Roadshow in 40 years.
Yeah.
Someone says, hey, I was going through my grandma's computer, and I found this NFT. Is it worth anything? And the person on the Antiques Roadshow goes, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. That's the Nanya cat meme. I've never seen it in person.
Yeah.
I can just see it now.
Yeah, because these will be like the young kids on Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
That are like, oh, I've never seen that before. But then there's someone in the background like, I know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's to the point now where I've seen Magic the Gathering cards on Antiques Roadshow, and I'm going, man, I'm old. So Chris, thank you for asking that question. I hope we cover things for you. I hope that works for you. So yeah, basically it's all digital stuff, and it's all distributed. So it's backed up, and who owns what has always been backed up. But you keep your Bitcoins and your NFTs in a wallet on your computer. And so what people have been doing lately is taking over someone's computer and stealing their wallet. So it's a high-tech mugging.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead. I talked about crypto losing money, and thanks, Colt, for the numbers in there. Colt's also running some browser searches for us when we get hung up. So I appreciate that. All right, Charlie, you want to jump on to something else? Yeah.
Let's do some video game stuff. We
Okay.
were talking about NFTs. We're talking about digital things.
Mm-hmm.
This is another digital thing, but except more widely available. So yesterday was a Nintendo Direct. If you don't know what that is a conference that Nintendo holds every so often, I think quarterly, that shows off new games and stuff that's coming to their consoles. So right now, with the Nintendo Switch being the current console, some of the stuff that I found today are some of the things that are coming out in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have ever played Mario Kart before,
I love Mario Kart.
yes, the newest iteration of Mario Kart is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Originally came out on the Wii U, and then they re-released it onto the Switch as with a basically a all-in-one package with all the DLC from the Wii U. Now, since there's still talk of a new Mario Kart 9 coming out at some point, or maybe they'll skip and go like Mario Kart X or something. Who knows? Who knows?
I hate when they do that, though.
But anyway, they're coming out with a $25 pass that if you purchase it, it is
this is where I'm rubbing my eyes.
Yes, 48 new courses to the game. No new characters, which I'm kind of sad about.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. But from old and past Mario Kart games, such as like Mario Kart Tour, so the mobile game, they have a few of those. Mario Kart 64, Wii, DS, and the one from the Super Nintendo, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they have a few courses from each of the old games. They're coming out in like spurts. Like every part, like I think they're gonna extend it for like 2 years or something. They're gonna release things for. So that will be interesting to see.
Nifty.
The first one does include a Wii classic called Coconut Mall that I've absolutely loved. And Choco Mountain from N64.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
Moo Moo Meadows.
No, Moon Meadows was already in the game.
Oh, was it already in the game?
Yes, because that was from Wii, and then everyone loved that map, so they put it in 8. And then...
Yeah, because there's something about magic about Moo Moo Meadows and having to deal with the cows being in the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just put in our chat. Hey, feel free to ask us any questions as we go. We'd appreciate that. We'll keep talking about news, but anytime you have any questions, or like what Chris did, is after the fact, Chris commented on our video and said, "Hey, can you talk about?" And we will. We'll do our best.
Yes, we'll try our very
cool.
best.
So I kind of wanted to go back to the Intel announcement. We've talked about this a little bit already. So the Intel $20 billion investment in Ohio, which is pretty darn awesome. So I realized this. Oh, it's Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
So 21 with a B is the single largest investment in Ohio's history. Single largest business investment. So going back and actually scaling it to all the investments by Standard Oil and Rockefellers and the JP Morgans and all the people who invested in railroads and all the stuff, Carnegie, all the people invested in Ohio, all the steel mills, all of that industry. This is the biggest thing in history. And so it'll be kind of interesting because, it's going to be the largest investment, but it's going to be its own self-contained city, basically. It's going to be that big. So, it's outside of the Dayton area is basically where it's at. Not quite close to Dayton. I was trying to figure out, they said what city it was, and I was trying to map and figure out kind of where it looks because I saw a couple people I know from down that way said it's near them, and so I was kind of triangulating where they could be. But yeah, theoretically, it's going to be its own city under several roofs, and that's kind of an interesting concept. I mean, you could live there in theory in Intel land.
What, Fordlandia?
Fordlandia, exactly.
We don't talk about Fordlandia.
Just like Bruno, apparently.
Yes.
But here's the other thing to think about. This investment basically is almost to the point of a strategic oil reserve or a strategic reserve for chips. Because COVID and everything that went down with shipping and all that stuff has, and we've talked about this how many times on this show? Yeah. How many times? That, we can't get cars because of chips. We can't do this because of chips. We can't do that because of chips. So this is going to be a strategic thing. It's like the strategic oil reserve. It's going to be a strategic chip reserve or a strategic chip manufacturing. And that may be why they're putting it towards Dayton, because we do put interesting things towards Dayton because of Wright Pat Air Force Base and some other things down there. Yeah. That may be a good reason why it's being built. There's also a lot of great land down there. Beautiful area too, by the way. I love all of Ohio. I know you're a big Cincinnati person. But some beautiful parts of Ohio down that way. But yeah, so strategic chips. Yes. Think about it that way. It's going to be a strategic chip reserve, a strategic chip building.
I was to say, you're always telling me about why it was such a strategic place to be put. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yep. Right state, right Pat. A lot of industry, a lot of chip manufacturing happening. And Ohio State isn't that far away either. So computer engineering at both of those schools is pretty intense. And I mean, from up here, people from Case, the people from Kent, the people from Youngstown State, all of those folks can come down that way and work. A lot of IT industry.
Oh yes,
so it's pretty cool.
Didn't you say we had silicon?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is there's huge amounts of silicon. So there's a lot of sand reserves in Ohio in general, and that's partly because of the glaciers. So I feel like I'm getting all teachery and geography type person. So you got this thing called the terminal moraine where the glaciers kind of left off, but it did push a lot of stuff, a lot of sand, a lot of silt as it dug out the Great Lakes, as it dug across Canada. So thank you, Canada, for all the awesome silicon and silica. But yeah, there's a lot of it in Ohio, and like Indiana has the Indiana Dunes Park, and that is because of glaciers and all that stuff. So a lot of that sand for us is buried. Like if you leave Madison, you head out through Thompson, Sidley has their big, should we call it a sand quarry? Can we call it a quarry? Sand dig?
I think we call it the sand pit. But
sand pit.
That's what I call it, but it's probably
that's a good example right there is they have tons of sand and silica. There's pure silica you can get a hold of, but you can turn a lot of stuff from sand. I mean, You make glass. You can make chips. A lot of stuff. So what else you got, Charlie?
Well, moving on to still some video game things. Who remembers the Wii?
I can't see it, but I'm raising my hand.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, Colt's raising
Colt's
his hand.
raising his hand.
I'll do it for him. So, another Wii classic, well, quote unquote Wii classic, is coming to Switch. Wii Sports, but it's called Nintendo Switch Sports.
Alrighty then, because we're just going to take the word "we" out and just say
Yeah.
Switch.
It's going to be Switch,
But
which
Switch?
okay. But the ironic part
How
is
much
that
switch for which
recently
switch?
I've also
Yeah.
read.
Switch.
Sandwich.
But recently,
Poor
the
Charlie.
Switch has outsold the Wii
Finally.
just recently.
Finally.
So
Wow.
conveniently,
Impressive.
they're putting out a, Wii-ish classic
Yeah.
into the form of the Switch game.
But I will say, that was the gimme game. That was the free game that came with the Switch.
Like
sorry,
any,
that we,
yeah, the,
sorry,
any of the,
thanks,
yeah,
thanks, Colt. But that was kind of everyone's intro into
the motion controls.
the motion control stuff. And I mean, it did kind of blow everyone out of the water. I can remember, playing, when the Wii came out, a friend of mine got one, and we had a party, and not for the unveiling of the Wii. We're nerdy, but not quite that nerdy. We're close. But we had a party, and so we were in the garage, and we put a sheet up, and that was the first time we all got to see the Wii, and we were doing bowling, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then we were doing baseball, and we were all hurting our arms trying to swing so hard with the Wiimotes to do the home run derby and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And tennis. We were doing a lot of tennis. We almost killed each other a couple times doing tennis.
The amount of TVs that fell to the.
I was gonna say the number.
The amount of remotes that have went into
the
TV
Wiimotes that
screens.
have gone through
Just-
walls and
just
things.
through
You needed those
baseball and
straps.
tennis.
Oh yeah.
And the
And the
silicone
skin. Yeah,
skin. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I would say any of the real like Wii titles that were, like Wii Sports or like Wii Play or all those kinds of games, those were the best for the motion controls.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff was
Yeah.
in my opinion.
The thing that I desperately wanted with the Wii was a good Star Wars game where you could swing lightsabers around.
Now they did have one,
And
but
they had Jedi something or other.
Jedi Academy or something
Academy or
like
whatever. It was, I don't know if it was Academy. It was something with Ahsoka Tano. And so I actually had the little lightsaber.
Yeah, they had the
light-up things.
lightsaber
Yeah, I had
attachments
little
and
lightsaber
everything.
attachments.
I think there was a good one on the Xbox 360.
Well, yeah, that was the Kinect.
That was
Star
the Kinect,
Wars.
and that one was not good with the lightsaber. That was
Really?
terrible with the lightsaber. The best game
Because-
that was the Rancor Rampage,
Yes.
which spoilers. Watch the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett. It's like that game in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're coming out with a new sports game for the Switch.
Okay.
They did take away some of the sports that we all knew from the original, but they did add new ones.
What did they take away?
So, well, let's see. What Wii Sports was: tennis, bowling, baseball,
Boxing,
golf, boxing.
I
right?
keep forgetting about golf. I was
Yeah.
terrible at that.
They took away boxing because that wasn't
Ah.
very popular. I
Really?
guess. Yeah.
Everybody knew played boxing.
Everyone loved boxing.
Well,
Yeah.
But I feel like the boxing would be better, especially now that it's two Joy-Cons,
Yeah.
right?
So
And
you
I
got
feel
both
like,
hands.
yeah, it would actually be two main controllers in both
Yeah.
hands instead of the
So you could
the
follow
Wii remote and the nunchuck.
especially if you have that
Well, yeah, and
that
then you
one-
got
literally the
then you
1-2
got free
punch.
you got free reign punching too.
What's the name of the Switch game that is like boxing, but they have spring hands?
Oh, arms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
you
it's called
can
arms.
actually play that with the just two Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
It's fun, but
Yeah,
the
I think
gimmick.
that-
I
it's a
feel like
gimmicky.
it would be more fun if it were still a sports game.
Yeah.
Right.
But I kind of see why. But they also took away baseball, which I'm kind of sad about. I liked playing baseball.
I
in Wii
love
Sports.
baseball.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm terrible at baseball, but I loved playing that game.
Now they did bring back a classic from Wii Sports Resort, which was sword fighting.
Oh,
They brought back that.
the fencing was cool.
Yes.
The fencing was cool.
Yes.
The fencing was cool.
They brought that back into this game. So, but they added, was it 3 new games? No, yeah, 3 new games.
Okay.
Volleyball,
Uh,
badminton,
okay. Badminton's like tennis.
and last one but not least, soccer. Soccer.
Soccer's all about your feet.
Yes.
They're
Unless
gonna
you're
be
goalie.
selling
Now
straps.
they're selling. So with the physical version of the
Oh my
game,
gosh.
I'm not trying to sell this to anybody,
Oh my gosh.
but with the physical version of the game, it's coming with a strap that goes on your leg
Really?
that houses the Joy-Con
Oh my gosh.
and uses it as a
Oh
motion
my
for
gosh.
kicking.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
yes.
So now we're gonna kick some TVs down off the wall, eh, Colt?
Well,
Yeah,
so
right,
it's in a
yes.
zipper strap. I'm pretty sure it's a zipper. I kind of paid attention, but I wasn't at the same time because right after that was the demonstration of volleyball, and I was not paying attention.
So I think now would be a good time to
Thank you, Margaret.
to plug the library's new 3D printers.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it would be.
So yeah, shameless self-promotion. We were able to secure some funds, some federal funds through the State Library of Ohio through an ARPA grant. And part of that grant is for us to have take our create space and add some extra equipment that we can take then on a van throughout the community. But as a preview, on the 21st,
Yes.
we're going to be having an open house, and you can do some 3D printing. So you may want to 3D print something for your Joy-Cons to hold them to
Yeah.
your feet to
Well,
play soccer.
I mean, hey, instead of buying the sports accessories, you
I
can
agree.
print out
You
your
can
own.
Print your own.
Look at that.
So yeah, we don't have any files and we don't do any
Yeah, we don't-
designs.
Yeah, no.
And
you'll-
don't steal anyone's intellectual property, please.
Yes.
But hey, yeah, we could do that. The 3D
Yeah.
printing, and we can also do some fun things there. We have a couple of different lasers. We can do some fun things there too.
Now with the sports game still, there's going to be a free update in the fall
Okay.
that adds golf.
Yeah.
It's not coming out with golf, but it's
Yeah.
adding golf.
I don't know. I grew up in a community with like 5-6 golf courses,
Mhm.
and it's never been my thing. I like the driving range. I like
Yeah.
putt, but yeah, golf's never been my thing. I'm not knocking it. If you love golf, that's awesome. Go do, that's cool. And some of my closest friends love golf, so I don't know. Do they have so sports was awesome with the Wii.
Yes.
And then when Sonic and Mario Olympics came out,
Yes.
that was the other game we played
They
the life
had-
out of
They did have a new one come out recently.
for the Switch.
Yes. That was Tokyo? Yes, Tokyo,
Tokyo.
because it got canceled, but they still came out with the game for 2020.
Oh, that's fun.
So they still came out with that,
Uh-huh.
and it was about the same gimmick,
Yeah.
but I think a little bit less.
See, I found like if I remember correctly, the Sonic and Mario Olympics at one point had archery, and I found archery.
That was London 2012.
Was it London? I found that one was cool. That was very cool to do with the
Yeah.
Wiimote and stuff.
Well,
to do.
Sports Resort also had archery.
Did it have archery?
Yes.
Yeah.
No one knew about that, but it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked that. I liked that very much.
I played too
Moraine,
much
Sonic.
Wii games.
There's a couple of it. And I think the three of us probably have done a decent amount of archery.
Hold on, say it again, Colt.
It was
Was it London?
2012 was London.
Yes.
Yeah.
London was 2012.
With archery?
Yeah.
Because they had the weird block design for
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2012.
Yep.
And then there was the gimmick I was telling you about with like the strap for soccer.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
It's only available for one mode at launch,
Yeah.
and it's a kicking range.
Wow.
That's all it's available for
Wow.
until the update in fall, which actually allows you to use the strap in soccer.
It hurts my head now.
I know.
Why does Nintendo always have these false starts with stuff?
Well, like Nintendo has a great idea,
Yeah.
and then it's just brick wall. Wait, hold on. We have an update that's coming later
we're
that
gonna
will
fix
actually.
this.
Yeah, we'll
we're
fix
gonna,
this.
We're gonna give you this really cool thing, but it's not gonna work. And then we're gonna fix it in a couple of months.
Yeah, and not completely knocking Nintendo.
No,
but
I mean,
it's
I
like
I love my Nintendos. I own, I think just about one of everything at this point. Because I'm a game collector,
Mhm.
gaming a console collector. But oh my gosh,
yeah.
well,
Well,
I still have the bongos.
yeah.
the
For
GameCube
DK
bongos. Oh yeah.
bongos. Yeah.
So wow.
All
All right.
right. Off from Nintendo.
Off
to
from
elsewhere.
Nintendo. Let's try something else here. So, all right. So we've talked a couple times recently about SpaceX, and
Ooh,
I mean,
spaceships.
and if you guys know, I mean, I'm very fascinated by space. I love everything to do with going to space. Whether it's government funded like NASA or commercially funded like Blue Origins or SpaceX. But so our friends at SpaceX They got to learn about the solar system the hard way.
Oh no.
So at this point, SpaceX has put up 49 satellites. That's very awesome. There was a giant radiation burst from good old Sol, our sun, which caused a geomagnetic storm, which check out 40 of the 49 satellites that they had launched by SpaceX.
So a good 90-ish%
Yeah,
of
something
just
like
wiped
that.
out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as I can tell, everything I've read, they're toast. There's not like,
There's
they're
nothing-
just knocked out. We can go up and fix them, or
You know,
something.
or
No,
we can
toast.
try to turn them on somehow.
Yeah, we're like the Mars rover, who I love the Mars rover because when that thing actually dies, I'm gonna be sad because it's just such a trooper.
Yeah.
I just saw a picture recently of the Mars rover. It took a shot of its wheel
Yeah.
and how
And it has a
busted
hole.
up. There's
Yeah.
holes and stuff, but it's like I'm still running.
I'm still going.
I'm still going. You know, it's like the Energizer Bunny of stuff. But yeah, so SpaceX, it was like, I don't know how many billions of dollars. One good solar burp, basically. If that's how I describe it. It just, the sun just exuded some radiation, one big burp, and whoosh, gone.
Done.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have our magnetic field around Earth. That's why Mars doesn't have an atmosphere, and that's why other places like Jupiter and stuff, or not Jupiter, sorry, Venus, you know, is toast because without that magnetic field, the only other entity
There
that
it
has a
is.
magnetic field is Jupiter, oddly enough, and their magnetic field goes all the way to Saturn. Yes. So I have a first grader, so we know a lot about science and space because that's what we do at home a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna random space facts for y'all. So yeah, SpaceX, space. Yeah, SpaceX lost 40 satellites. 40. And here's the thing: all that space junk we have up there that we've been keeping track of, at some point, that thing's gonna be a problem. So all these dead satellites that we just put up, I'm waiting for the space garbage truck to come along and like scoop them
I'm
all
waiting
up.
for the space
Space
massive
Roomba.
net.
Space Roomba.
Space Room.
Space Roomba.
If we ever could get a mascot, Space Roomba would be our mascot for here.
Absolutely.
So did you guys see that they're gonna? Sorry, I don't mean to take
No,
your
you're
story,
fine. You're
but
fine.
did you see in like 2020? Is it 2023? They're going to decommission the International Space Station
Yes.
and drop it into the Pacific.
Yes, I heard
Yeah.
about that.
That kind of makes me cry because I can remember, like, you know, the first talk about that. I was in middle school, and it was like, oh, that's so far away and stuff. And now we're like, we've been there for how long? And now we're gonna drop it in the ocean, but we're gonna have something new. So, what else you got, Charlie?
All right. So, very, very Italian automaker named Ferrari.
I never heard of them.
I know. No one's ever heard of
No
them,
one's
right?
ever heard of them.
You know, the horse and the red shield. Yeah,
Never
totally.
saw
No
that.
one's ever heard of them, right?
Never saw them.
They're cooperating with Snapdragon. So, the smartphone
Snapdragon?
chip maker.
Snapdragon processors.
Yes.
They were awesome processors.
3.
Interesting. We got 3 minutes.
Wait, no. I think he was pointing at the
Oh yeah.
change to the 3. There's
nothing.
really nothing to show here.
There's nothing to
Okay.
show. Sorry, camera 3.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's fine.
I'm like,
I
3
didn't.
minutes?
I didn't
So
understand that. That's fine. But they are working together to work with their in-car like smart devices. So like
Okay.
like in like some of the family cars from like Chevrolet and stuff like that. They're like the home screen.
Oh yeah.
stuff in the
Okay.
middle,
Yeah.
like the pad screens.
Yeah.
They are noticing limitations in their own electronical,
They're on
component
development. They're on
stations and stuff like
components
that.
Development. Yeah.
They're noticing that that's slowly going out and they need to put stuff in now because they're actually starting to make
Interesting.
family cars now.
A family Ferrari.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with
I mean,
that.
there was the not California. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it was a hatchback sedan. Also, Lamborghini has done a few family cars too.
Yeah. Lamborghini. Lamborghini has actually had some family cars. They've had some like station wagon looking cars or hatchbacks. They had an all wooden car once too. It was all handmade.
Huh.
The whole body was wood.
It was just wood.
It was. I'm not pulling your leg.
So
I'll have to find it somewhere.
So it's kind of like the idea of the Cybertruck where it's just like a full block of it's not full block, but
yeah.
it looks like a full block of aluminum.
Milled out. Yeah. No, it was like handcrafted. So it was all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like all wood, fancy wood and stained and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll have to see if I can find a picture of it.
Yeah. So with
Yeah.
that, Ferrari has actually put Snapdragon on the main sponsor tab of their F1 cars.
Interesting.
So they're a premium sponsor now of
Interesting.
everything, but they're slowly working to get that cluster of
The instrument
gauges
cluster.
and
Yeah.
stuff
Mhm.
work done and making it look cooler and hopefully a little bit better running than what they had.
That's the one thing I've always noticed is a lot of the top end cars.
Mhm.
You know, you kind of expect, you know, that they're going to be like the technology is going to be like amazing, and it's usually not.
Mm-mm.
It's usually pretty lame. Like I can remember sitting in what was it? It was a Porsche. It was a Porsche a couple of years ago
Yeah.
at the auto show. So it hadn't been before COVID with the auto show. And I'm sitting in there, and this is we're modern. I mean, I got a touch screen, you know,
Yeah.
in my
Now,
daily
see,
drivers.
I have an older car.
Well,
I don't have one.
You're,
I'm still getting there.
you're recently
I will
graduated
eventually.
student.
Yes.
Trust me, we all start out with
Hey, you
something
know
that needs
what?
to go up a little
I
bit.
love having the fact that I only have the
Single
digital.
CD?
Well, yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
no, 7 change. It's
Huh?
a 7 change.
7 change. Okay, sorry. Don't mean to mock
Don't
the
diss
Taurus.
it. Don't diss
not,
it.
Not knocking the Taurus. We're such nerds sometimes.
It does knock though, especially since it's been sitting for too long.
Yeah.
That
But,
is a roach.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, that's the thing. I mean, I have sat, and, you know, I like to go to car shows and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, a huge
I did
motorhead,
too.
but like I'll sit in some of these, you know, high end
Yeah.
sports cars, and I'm looking around. I'm like, well, this is a terrible stereo.
Mhm.
Or why don't we have more cameras on this thing? Or like, you know, now I sat in some really high end luxury cars though.
Yes.
You know, and I have been blown away with the technology in some of the higher end luxury cars, like things from Rolls and stuff like that. Jaguar has some pretty Land Rover, Jaguar, some of those high end like luxury.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
true luxury cars.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have technology.
Oh
They
yeah.
have technology.
Oh yeah.
But like your high performance cars, you
Yeah.
know, like I would say probably the like most terrible looking interior I've ever seen in my entire life was in a Lamborghini.
Well, yeah, because it's stripped.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I
stripped
realized
almost
it's
nothing.
stripped of performance, but like this was the one that wasn't. It was like the daily driver Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Because there was a guy living near me who had one, and the one day I was out, and you know I waved at him and stuff, and he stopped, and so we were talking, you know, because he wanted to stop and talk about his Lamborghini because that's
Oh yeah.
to be,
That's what they do.
if you're on a Lamborghini,
Lamborghini
I
owners do
literally-
that.
He was really cool. He you know, we're talking
Yeah.
and stuff, and I'm looking inside, kind of like looking at the interior and stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's lame, really lame.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not. It wasn't. I didn't think it was appealing at all. You know, some of my favorite interiors are like from family cars.
Yeah.
You know, like I you know, I drive a Dodge Charger. I like my interior. I like how my instrument cluster is. I do like the Tesla's instrument cluster.
Yes.
And I like how Ford has done a lot of their 250s, 150, 250 trucks with the instrument cluster. And
Yeah.
like the Raptor cluster, really nice. You know, but to put in perspective, I spent half my life driving in a car
Yeah.
to go to some job, either as a consultant or driving an hour to go to work.
Mhm.
So my perspective is it has to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And it has to have a good sound system because I'm
Mhm.
going to be listening to a book. I'm going to be listening to music. I'm going to be listening to, I used to say radio, not as much anymore. But yeah, I you know, I don't care how fast I get there, as long as I'm like, you know, not hobbling because my back hurts. And,
Yes.
you know, bored to tears because I'm on the road for 2 hours, you know, so I don't know. You know, who had a weird instrument cluster?
Who?
The DeLorean. I mean,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you've seen the DeLorean
Yeah.
like in Back to the Future, but like look at a untouched DeLorean,
Yeah, I've seen one.
and
Yeah.
you're like, wow. I mean, it's 80s. I'm from the
Yeah.
80s, but like, wow.
I mean, a cool cluster that I've seen. I play a lot of racing games, so it's like they're all like already there clusters. They're not like you turn them off, turn them back on. You see
Yeah.
you see the turn on animation. The newer Ford GTs,
Oh, the Ford GTs are they're
because
kinda cool. They're kinda
those clusters are kind of like the Tesla one, where it's like a solid sheet of glass across in
Like
front of
Gorilla
you.
Glass across,
But
yeah.
instead of like the typical like circle gauge cluster,
Mm-hmm.
it's the RPM bar cluster, and I love that for some
Ooh,
reason.
that's nifty. You know who had one that looked kind of like that? The Chrysler LeBaron had an option
yes.
for a fully electronic instrument panel. So it was all LEDs. That was 80 something. Yeah,
I say I think
the LeBaron kind of had that.
One of my friends was talking about that because there's one that I think it was the same car, maybe a different one, but there was one with an included CRT monitor.
Yes,
that sat in
Yeah.
the center console.
Yeah. That was there was a couple of versions of the LeBaron that had actually CRT monitors. Yeah.
Chuck, on your laptop, look up the Corvette C4 cluster.
Let's just do C4 or no?
No, because
never mind.
that'll be plastic explosive.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do that.
no.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna promote that.
I can't
C-O-R-V-E-T.
spell. There it is.
Digital cluster.
Is it C8?
Yeah.
You're talking about C8 cluster? Nope. That okay. I guess that works.
It was C4.
C4.
That was the C4,
C4.
and that is not how you spell it.
So while Charlie's doing a search, so I should say, hey, we have our our create space, and we have a lot of cool things in there.
This one looks like an airplane.
You know what that looks like? That looks like Knight Rider. It looks like the kit instrument cluster from Knight Rider. That was an awesome instrument cluster. Let me tell you.
This is another one from the C4.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't seen that one.
That's very cool.
Yeah, this is. I think this is
the one I was talking about.
Yeah. That's cool.
I don't see what the difference is between
that.
these.
Is 80s.
That's total 80s.
This is 80s. Yes.
That's total 80s. But that's cool. That's cool.
Now this is it in the car.
Yeah.
This is what it would look like.
Yeah.
This is the 84 cluster. A little bit different.
Yep.
But yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. All right, so jump back to us then.
Oops, I closed that out.
Yep, he closed it out.
That's
he closed it out.
fine.
Oh, no. So again, we have our create space. Feel free to schedule an appointment because we have a lot of cool equipment. We have vinyl cutters, we have laminators, we have 3D printers, we have lasers to engrave things. We have vacuum formers. We've got some other really cool things coming soon, like a CNC carving machine, milling machine. So, and while Charlie's still doing his thing, I'm going to jump into another story. So, I believe this was today or released today. DARPA, who, by the way, again, created the internet. So thank you, DARPA, for allowing us to be streaming right now. They have, ready for this one? The system is called Alias.
Okay.
And it stands for Autonomous, Aircraft Labor in Cockpit Automation System. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Totally.
It's Alias.
Yeah.
But it's an autonomous flight system for a Blackhawk helicopter. So DARPA has been doing autonomous cars for a number of years now. They're the ones who are pioneering the self-driving cars and all that stuff. But so they had a self-flying helicopter.
Oh, okay.
And, we were talking a little bit before that, as we were getting ready for the show tonight. Well, why on earth would you want a self-flying? In fact, I think it was Colt who said, why not just do a drone, right?
Yeah.
Well, see, I wasn't thinking like we're going to fly the helicopter into battle. I was thinking more along the lines of in the worst case scenario, the pilot is hurt or knocked unconscious or something like that during the flight. Or during a regular, maybe this is even commercial flights. The pilot of your airliner passes out. Maybe it's a cabin depressurization and he or she passes out. I wasn't even thinking about it until just now. So this autonomous flight could then say, well, okay, the obviously the pilot is unconscious. Everybody else seems to be unconscious. We can detect that. It's pretty easy to figure out. Let's find a way to land the plane. In this case, in the worst case scenario, the helicopter pilot is hurt or incapacitated, and we need to get our troops back out of the battlefield. So the pilot is incapacitated. This thing kicks on, flies us home. Everybody gets saved, hopefully. All the troops. I absolutely, when it comes to protecting people, I am all for this kind of technology. Now, there's the whole Skynet aspect of Skynet's going to take all of our helicopters, and but whatever on that. I'm thinking more along the lines of, how do we when it all goes upended, how do we get our people back? How do we land a plane? Someone scan Sully Sullenberger's brain and make sure that it's on every single commercial flight in this autonomous thing to land that plane, So, you got another one going?
We're doing pretty good on time this time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't ramble enough or what. Well, last time we had problems with your mic. So,
Yeah, so we kind of took time of doing that.
Yeah.
So
I'm checking all my news feeds on my watch real quick.
so we all know Mazda, right? We all know
We
we
try
all know the
to.
car company,
We
right?
try to. Some of us own Mazdas around here.
Yeah.
Not me.
So some of the I don't know what they mean by head units, to be completely honest with you, are being bricked by local
Okay.
NPR station in Seattle.
Well, so when they say head units, they mean the radio.
The radio?
They mean
Yeah.
the radio cluster. Yeah.
Okay. So the radio clusters are being bricked by a certain radio station in Seattle.
Dang, NPR. You want people to listen, not to not listen. That's not how
Yes.
this works. So why is it being bricked? Does it say?
Let's see.
Super codes.
And by the way, we should explain, when we say bricked, it means that something in the software has caused whatever device it is, whether it's a phone, a television, a computer, to not be working, and it might as well be a brick. So what bricked it?
Let's
Does
see.
it say?
Let's see.
Because HD radio has some digital stuff to it, and that's probably
Yeah.
what it is HD radio.
The issue, some owners reported losing Bluetooth connectivity and ability to play CDs, as well as a disabled backup camera,
Well, that's no fun.
and powerless USB ports for charging phones. One user warned against disconnecting the car's 12-volt battery when troubleshooting. You can lose the ability to even listen to this.
Well, wow, that's usually my MO, in all honesty, when I'm trying to troubleshoot things like that. Is one of the easiest ways to reboot your car is to pop the battery. Because I don't know if you guys have ever had a dead battery where basically you go in and you realize that your all your presets on your radio are wiped, all of your settings are all wiped on your car and stuff like that. Because I've had to do that before. I was flashing flash updating some software in my car, and I had an oops, and so I rebooted my car. Now, I did not do this while driving.
Okay.
It's important.
Here's what the issue
You
was.
got it.
What the unsuspecting consumer tuning in discovered was a bug in the car's informant software that crashed after trying to load the HD radio broadcast image the radio station submitted. The image file was missing an extension and the infotainment software could not decode it and had
for
no
heaven's
process
sakes.
for handling it. So
So
basically over
I've rubbed my eyes a lot tonight.
yes, there's been a lot of why did this happen moments.
Face palming.
Yes, a lot.
So I write code. I was trained to write code. I'm not the best person to ever write code in the history of the planet, but original training. When you write your code, you make as many ways to catch when that thing loses its mind as possible.
Yes.
Usually the last line of code is something to say, if all else fails, do this, So it's kind of sad that basically it's missing an extension, which could be the .jpeg is in all honesty, or .png or .gif.
Yeah. So now this would have been a $1,500 repair.
Whoosh.
But Mazda has put out there that they're going to make it a goodwill repair, and it's not going to cost any owners of these cars a dime.
Because I would totally class action lawsuit that one. I'm not a litigious person, but if your software bricked my car because you weren't careful enough to put in some catch code for an error or unexpected stuff, and trust me, I write code. People give you unexpected stuff. I never anticipated people to put things in web forms that they put in there. It's surprising, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, the only thing is though is with the current chip shortage and everything else,
yeah,
it
Well-
could take weeks to months to even get it fixed.
Well, I don't think it'll actually be a chip replacement. What they'll probably do is because you can used to be use the UV light. You could take a non-volatile chip and use a UV light, and it would reset it. Okay, because that's why they had little stickers on them. You would take the sticker off, hit it with a UV light, and reset it.
Well,
you can reprogram it.
They're saying that it could have been fixed with a software update, but it turns out the solution is to replace the CMU.
Really? So they are dropping chips.
Yes. Oh, Colt
Colt's giving us
in the back.
He's giving us the hook soon. We've got like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
All right. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, but they're going to fix it free of charge for
hey,
anyone.
Good on you, Mazda. Good on you, Mazda, for going out there
Now,
and doing it.
this
for
also
free.
means that hopefully Mazda wants to put out an update for everybody that owns these cars.
Yeah.
That they don't brick anywhere else around the country besides the one.
Yeah,
in
that would be a
Seattle.
service recall. So you'd want to go back to your dealer or somebody who can do a software flash.
Mazda has not put out a update yet
Yeah.
for it, so they're only going to do this for the people in Seattle that have had the cars bricked already.
So we all work with someone who owns a Mazda, so we're gonna have to let her know
Yes,
not to drive to
if
Seattle.
she's not watching right now.
Yeah, she might be watching. I don't know, but
Yeah. So tell her not to drive to Seattle.
Yeah.
And
Well,
she listens to
Okay,
NPR. That's the problem.
don't listen to
She listens to NPR.
KUOW Public Radio,
Yeah.
the 94.9 FM.
And the thing is, I'm not blaming the NPR station either.
Oh, yeah,
but you should have put your extension in your thing. That's good code there too. I'm calling people out. They're gonna look at my code and go, "This thing has Swiss cheese," but whatever.
Yeah, it's all good.
okay. So got a couple more things because we've got a little bit of time
I
left.
think with the 5 minutes, I think you'll end off with yours. I don't
I
think
don't know.
mine.
We'll see how we go. So let's see. I do want to talk a little bit about QR codes, and I meant to mention this in the last episode, but I think we didn't run out of time. So QR codes, quick response codes. Those are little codes you scan with your phone that load apps or take you to a map or whatever. And I'm surprised it took this long. QR code scams.
Yeah.
So people are replacing QR codes with malicious URLs.
Man, isn't that ironic and hilarious at the same time?
Yeah. So you're taking a sticker and putting over top of a sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating.
So
I'm not saying don't trust QR codes, but I'm saying
well,
we're gonna have to start not trusting
so
QR
it's
codes
basically
entirely, 'cause I'm gonna put QR codes around the library.
it's basically the same thing with the credit card readers that went over top the original ones.
Yeah.
And it just, you put your card in not thinking about it, and then you pulled it
It
out.
scans it in
Exactly,
line.
in line. But the only thing with the QR code is that if it scans and it goes somewhere else already, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of technology out there that if you had access to that technology and you did nefarious things, it's pretty easy to take over a phone or take over a lot of things. So I don't want you all out there to be terrified of scanning a QR code, because I use QR codes here for a lot of our marketing stuff. What I'm saying is that we're going to need to start being a little more cautious of what we're scanning. So if there's a sticker over top of a QR code, now sometimes it's because the QR code got broken or someone didn't do their job right and it's not set up correctly.
Yes.
But I'm serious. You need to start paying attention to what you're scanning.
Well, especially
if it looks weird, don't scan it, because people scan QR codes in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like geocaching or geocaching.
Mm-hmm.
Scan QR codes. Like, know what you're scanning.
Yeah.
If you see a QR code from the library, it's probably cool to scan. If you see a QR code from the ecology department at the Madison High School, all of their plants are labeled. Scan that one. It's really cool. They've done a lot of cool things with it. But don't scan random QR codes or QR codes with lots of stickers on top of things.
The other thing is that if there are QR codes on social media anywhere, make sure you know what who's posting it.
Yeah.
If it's some random person posting a QR code from us, maybe don't trust it. Maybe see if we posted something on our original page.
Exactly.
Because if we did, then that's the QR code you want to use, because
Yeah.
they could have easily just photoshopped another QR
like
code
our
on
newsletter
top.
has a QR code in it. Trust the QR code in our newsletter currently. It works fine. So yeah, that's just something to think about. But there's so many. That's the thing. Whenever I talk about security, people need antacid usually afterwards.
Yes.
But there are so many ways that things can be hacked. It's really easy. But in the same instance, you can't just go without technology. That just doesn't happen. I mean, even the people who live off grid use solar panels. There's technology everywhere.
There's some form of technology.
There's some form of technology. And I think I'm gonna leave us on a happy note.
Okay.
Yay.
So researchers in the United Kingdom and part of Oxford and a couple other entities, joint European thing, made another big step in cold fusion.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's not totally cold fusion, but it's fusion.
Close
So
enough.
a fusion reaction, not a fission reaction. So
Yeah.
Perry, fission reaction, splitting, fusion reaction, putting stuff together. So fusion is basically our limitless power. And so I'm going to read this exactly how I made sure I got it. So the joint European torus being the shape, not your car, but the shape of a donut. Torus experiment near Oxford managed to produce a record amount of heat energy over a 5-second period. I know 5 seconds isn't a lot, which was the duration of the experiment. So 5 seconds doesn't seem like a whole lot, but 5 seconds in these quantum number schemes, that's like we just produced 4 years of power. So it's very fascinating that we're making these giant leaps, because I talked about a fusion story a couple of times ago.
I think so, yeah.
Where these leaps are happening, and will we have fusion in our lifetime? Maybe. It used to be, I would always joke like, there's no way on earth we're having fusion in our lifetime.
I mean, says the story from last time that you talked about warp drive.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, for like
we found
minuscule possibility, but it still works.
We found a real life warp, and that was DARPA again, by the
Yeah.
way. Them DARPA people, you guys rock. But yeah. So fusion and torus. So by the way, the official, because I learned this because of my son, the official name of the donut shape. Okay, so that circular donut.
Yeah.
Think donut. Think Homer Simpson donut. That is a torus. It's TORUS. So not quite like the bull.
Yeah.
Not quite like your car, but a torus. So with that, hey, we could have fusion pretty soon. That'd be awesome. So hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate it. You guys want to say thanks too?
Yes, thank you for joining us today. If you need a learning coach, please call up the library and we'll schedule one for either with me or Joe. Specifically create space stuff for Joe. I'm more the tech guy for most of it. But if I'm not here, Joe and Sean will take over for me.
Yep, we can do things for you. Colt, got anything?
We appreciate you watching.
Yep, we appreciate you. So hey, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful morning, have a wonderful evening, whenever you watch us.
Or listen to us.
Yes, by the way, all of this stuff is a podcast. We have several podcasts out there. We are on every major podcast platform you can think of, from iTunes to Google. You can listen to us in your car. You'll miss some of the happy, fun, awesomeness of our faces. And, well, you'll just listen to Colt all the time, but I'm going to put a camera on him soon.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know.
Got to give the webcam.
I have a webcam for him. So, hey, so here we are. So be safe out there, be healthy, be happy, and be awesome.
Have a good night.
Yep.